Matt, is Aaron here? And is he good? If so, is he doing anything?
Yeah, he's not here.
You don't expect him till mandatory minicamp?
Yeah, I would say, I talked to him last night for a while, which is great, just to kind of update him on just where we are and go over a few, like we do every off season. There's always tweaks to what you're doing, but no, he's in great spirits, and it was a great conversation. But yeah, I wouldn't anticipate seeing him at least this week.
Is there a possibility next week, or you think it's not?
Yeah, I think it's all on him. I mean, it's voluntary, so.
Where do you see Bakhtiari with his return after how long it took him to kind of get back to the field last season?
Yeah, he's working hard, and he's doing a nice job.
So what do you try to get accomplished this week? Obviously, the rookies got their feet wet, and you got a whole bunch of veteran guys who've been there and done that. I guess what are the expectations?
For the rookies?
Yeah, I mean, just as a group, and you're trying to build a team at
Sure.
this point.
Yeah, we're trying to get everybody up to speed as fast as possible. And yesterday we went through our day one install in all three phases, and you can tell that there's a lot to learn, but there's a lot to be excited about. And so I think you can only take it one day at a time and just hope for a little bit of improvement each and every day, and watch these guys go out there and play with confidence. I think a lot of young guys are just out there playing more off field than really knowing all the intricate details. There's a lot that goes into this, and there's a lot of time spent teaching, and there's just a lot going on in their mind when they're out there. So the more they can hear us, and we can put them through different situations, whether it's walkthroughs or team, I think that you just hope for those incremental improvements each and every day from those guys.
Did you get an idea of the retention rate from the rookie camp to this week?
Yeah, I think it's been solid. It'll be interesting once we get past what we did in rookie camp. So today is day 2 of install. On Thursday we'll do day 3, and that's where it's going to start to pile up on them a little bit. So I think that's where you can really kind of see more so into next week of really where they're at.
You talked about tweaks with the offense. Is there going to be any changes to how you practice special teams during this portion of the schedule for you guys?
Oh, absolutely. Rich definitely has his own style, and I think you guys will see that today and feel him out there.
Will you coordinate that practice plan any more or less than you have with your coordinators in the past on that phase?
No, we always have coordinated and, try to give him exactly what he needs in terms of how much time and how we structure our practice. So that's something that we work with all our coordinators with every year.
I imagine it's kind of tough to build much as far as practice habits with 2 days of rookie mini camp, but when they come back for OTAs, how much do you think they take from the veterans, watching them go through each drill, watching their retention of what's new and what's coming back?
Yeah, that's a point of emphasis, they've got to watch the guy in front of them. And more specifically, I would say the guys within their group that are veterans, you have the ability to learn from everybody's reps. And that's the only way you can maximize and I would say expedite the learning curve and the learning process is you better be paying attention to everybody in front of you.
How's Sammy Watkins from a mental perspective? He was obviously with you in 2017. I'm not sure how much of that's changed, and it's a million years ago. I guess where is he?
Yeah, Sammy's done a nice job. He's been here for the most part. He's not here today, but he's been here throughout the majority of this off season, and I would say that there's a lot of differences between our offense when we were together in LA and what we're doing here, and just in terms of maybe not conceptually, but how we call things and how we coach different things. So there's certainly a lot for him to learn, but I think he's done a nice job.
Man, what was your level of excitement getting the extension done with Jair and just to have him, in this defense now for the long term?
Well, anytime you get one of the premier players at that position, specifically at corner, locked up for a long time, that always makes you feel good as a coach. We're only as good as our players many of the times.
Where's the balance between having guys ready for what they'll need to do when Aaron's here and bringing Jordan along at a realistic pace?
Well, I think that's always the challenge, right? And I think Jordan's doing a great job of really taking ownership of this offense, and it's a great opportunity for him. He hasn't probably gotten the number of reps that I don't think anybody would like. So it's just maximizing those opportunities, and he's got a great opportunity, to get the majority of the reps out there throughout the course of the OTAs.
Matt, specifically, how did he look, Jordan, yesterday, and what he did? Did you notice any differences in maybe from a year ago when he started with this same opportunity?
Yeah, I think, just going back and looking at our early installs, there's a lot of carryover from things we've done in the past. So he's had more time on task with that, and I think he did a nice job.
Matt, in your experience, do OTAs offer a glimpse as to how the speed of the game is different for the rookies than in the college game, or does that happen more in training camp and preseason?
I think where it really shows up is once you start to get to game action, because it's hard to really simulate how fast it is. I guarantee it is much faster for these guys, I would think. I haven't necessarily asked any of them, but you can just tell there's just so much going on, and if anytime you're thinking about exactly what you have to do, it's harder to react versus where you have where it's basically second nature and you're out there playing. And confidence has a lot to do with that, but the only way you get to that level is you got to go through the process, and that's what it is. It's a process, and I know we live in a world of instant gratification, but there's no substitute for the work that has to take place for them to get them where we want them.
Joe said last week that it's very impactful to have the amount of contact you guys have with the players now as opposed to the last 2 years. How have you seen that kind of change the way you guys do things, and how much more comfortable of a position is that for you now?
Yeah, I think anytime you have the players in the building, we get excited to come to work. I mean, that's why we do what we do, and we love being around these guys and watching these guys develop, and it's much harder to do when you're on Zoom calls with them. So it's much easier to see on a daily basis when you have them in person and you get to coach them on the field. We get excited about that.
Will you hold joint practices with another team in training camp?
We will.
Can you share any details, or is it premature?
No, we're going to practice against the Saints. So they'll be our week 2 opponent. And I talked to Dennis Allen yesterday, and we're kind of just working out the details of what days we're going to practice and how we're going to practice.
Matt, I know it's been a small sample size, but have you seen any mentorships already forming with the rookies at maybe any of the position groups yesterday?
Yeah, I think it's a little tough to tell. I will say this, that I see it all the time with our veterans, that they do a great job of accepting these guys, and they understand we're going to need all these guys to help us win. So not to say that there's not some rookie banter that goes on, but for the most part, these guys do an excellent job of accepting not only the rookies, but any free agents that we acquired with open arms in our locker room.
Going to back to Dennis's question, what did you take away from those Jets practices last week? I mean, last year, what were the major things that you liked about those?
Yeah, I think it just affords you the opportunity for your guys to go out there and compete against something different. There's a lot of unknown in terms of, whether you're scripting the practices or not. Yeah, you don't get accustomed to going against the same looks each and every day. So it just brings, a different level of competition, I would say. And I think what it really does for us is it affords us the ability to feel like we got good work with our veterans and then not have to play them in the game. So that's part of the reason I like those so much.
You talked about, for the rookies, it's the game action where you see the adjustment. Are those joint practices, does that help in that regard? Is it comparable enough or not?
Yeah, I mean, every practice for those guys is so valuable. So whether we're going against ourselves or the joint practices, some of those young rookies, it doesn't matter how much competition they get within those practices, they're going to be out there on the field.
Matt, last year, how much did you miss Tunyon as a target at the tight end position? And until Bobby comes back, you know, you got Mercedes, got a new position coach and done there, but talk about the competition that you're going to need early in the season at tight end.
Yeah, I mean, it's a group that, again, a lot of young players in that room. You know, outside of Mercedes, most of those guys are pretty young players, and it's fun to watch them kind of grow and develop. And certainly Bobby has got a lot to like about him in terms of just his vertical. He's a vertical threat. He is a sure-handed guy. I think, what was it? He had about a 90% completion rate the year before. And he's got there's a comfort factor with him and Aaron that you feel really good about. He's a guy that's had a lot of game experience, and so we know what we're going to get from him.
Got time for two more?
Goody and Doug have both mentioned Tyler Davis too recently. Someone to watch. Like, how have you seen him grow?
Yeah, Tyler is a guy that I didn't know a whole lot about when we acquired him. And, you know, it's just something that you could see each and every day when we were out there as he was learning the offense and then, you know, getting his reps on the scout team. And then he got forced into playing. And I thought he did a hell of a job. He certainly made his mark on special teams. And he's a guy that I know Rich was really excited about when we hired Rich. Just what he can bring, because he's a guy that's going to give you great effort each and every snap, and he can really run. So, you know, I think, again, he's a young player that needs to continue to learn and develop and show us what he can do.